So we just got back from the auction and we had a massive win. It was our 2017 Mitsubishi Mirage. We picked that up at the auction, believe it or not, for just $2,500. And today I'm going to talk about why that's a huge win, aside from just the price, because the car did have several maintenance items that it needed, like an engine misfire, as well as some cosmetic damage and some other things that have to be addressed. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video. We'll break down what those actual costs are with the new system that we built, bringing in a fleet operations contractor to be able to handle all of that, so that way our maintenance costs from a labor perspective are all tied into one, and that allows us to have a foundation for fleet freedom, which allows us to travel the world and enjoy life as we wish all over the world while still being able to run our business and keep it 90-95% of the way it was. So let's dive in, talk about the auction, and see how it went. Got the winning bid on the 17 Mirage. It's $2,500. They were kind enough to leave the Carfax in here. They tell me it's worth $72.80. I don't believe that. But here you go. 62,000 miles. Welcome to the fleet, brother. So I went into the auction originally looking for a couple of different car types. That was a small SUV, a minivan to replace the murder van that we had a lot of problems with, as well as small economic vehicles. So think like Toyota Yaris, Mazda 2, Mitsubishi Mirage, like we ended up buying, and the like. Our Toyota Yaris was our highest profit car last year, so that's why we were looking to get a second one like that, because we only have one. Our minivan was one of our highest revenue generators. Even though it did have a lot of expenses, it still ended up being, I think, our second or third best for profit. So we were looking to replace that, since the most similar car we have is our 2012 Nissan Pathfinder, which doesn't exactly fit the same demographic as a minivan. It's more of a large SUV. And then, of course, one of the best performers all around in terms of reliability and popularity is small SUVs. It's kind of the foundation of cars that people like in America. So we were also looking for those. While I'm walking around, honestly, they didn't have as many cars as they usually did, so I was a little surprised. They still had a lot of people there looking for vehicles, flippers, and I guess people looking for their own cars because it's public. So we kind of honed in on 4 different cars that looked interesting. There was a 2014 Honda CR-V with 87,000 miles. There was a 2015 Mazda CX-5 with 97,000 miles. There was a 2016 Volkswagen Tiguan, which I've heard a lot about those being popular on Turo, so I figured we'll take a shot. And then there was the 2017 Mitsubishi Mirage. So those were the 4 cars that we were interested in that seemed pretty good. Now, the Mirage and the Tiguan both had the same check engine light on, which was for a misfire. I think it was random misfire. PO300 was the code. So my mechanic thankfully told me he thought that that was just a tune-up that it needed, because otherwise the cars idled pretty well. They didn't have any other codes or anything like that. So he was thinking if we're lucky, we'd be able to get away with just a tune-up on those two vehicles. Now, the downside to the CR-V and to the CX-5 was I had a feeling that they were going to go for big money. I thought they were going to go for like 8,000 to 10,000, and I really was not trying to spend more than, say, 4,000 or 5,000 on a car. I was really hoping to leave with 2 cars and keep it under 6,000. Sadly, it didn't work out that way. But as we were going through, a couple CR-Vs, a couple RAV4s, a couple CX-5s were going up, and ones with higher mileage that were older were going for 10 grand, which is absurd. I couldn't believe it. So, of course, the CX-5, it was a Grand Touring, gorgeous car, really gorgeous car. That one ended up going for like 12.2, and the CX-5 ended up going for like 12.6 or 12.8. So I assumed, strategy speaking, because my Tiguan was all the way at the end. It was the very last car that was coming up. I thought everybody kind of blew their load on the early ones, and we would be able to snag that one at the end for a good price. I was willing to go as high as 3,500 because I've never had a German vehicle before, and I know that they are generally considered less reliable. So I had a lot of concerns, even though we're pretty sure that it was just a tune-up that it needed. If we're wrong on that one, it's kind of uncharted territories for me, so I wanted to cap at 3,500 on that one, and it ended up going for about 4750, something like that. So I didn't even bother bidding on it. The Mirage ended up coming up earlier than that. I was hoping to get it somewhere between 18 and 2,200. I did bid up to 2,500 because I had a feeling. I didn't think there was going to be another car I could get, and at 2,500 bucks still, you almost can't lose. Even if we had to put a new engine in the damn car, it wouldn't be the end of the world. 1,500, $2,000 for a new engine. I'm still all in on the car, 4,500 bucks. Of course, there's dealer fees, the title and dock and all that for you to be able to walk out the door. That ended up being $542. So all in to leave with the car, with all their fees and everything, it was $3,042. And as we were looking at the car, like I said, when we were there evaluating it, it has some minor cosmetic damage. So you're talking like there were two small little dents around the passenger side where the two doors met. There's some scrapes and scratches all over the car. Some of them buffed out, some of them didn't. Don't really care. It's a cheap economy car. In terms of the maintenance, we actually brought it back. And believe it or not, I mean, the spark plugs were completely chewed up. Those were destroyed. So we replaced them with all new iridium spark plugs, and believe it or not, it didn't even need the coil packs. They look perfectly fine, and the car's running a lot better. So it still had a little sputter to it that we're just putting in some fuel cleaner. We're going to fill up the tank, and that should knock that out. And we noticed the engine was rattling a little bit from the top passenger side motor mount. Of course, on these little 3-cylinder engines, they are super easy to replace. So we're going to do that. I think the motor mount itself is like 50 bucks. So that's pretty much mechanically what the car needed. We did notice that for some reason, whoever drained and filled the transmission fluid, I'm really glad that they actually took care of it, but they overfilled it. So we're going to drain that a little bit. We may drain a little more and put 1 or 2 quarts in, but we're going to see how it looks and how it drives once it comes down a little bit. Other than that, the passenger side view mirror, the glass was missing and the thing was loose. So we're going to see, to replace it was about 70 bucks. So we may just buy one of those, and one of the little reflector things were damaged. And then we're going to do brake pads all the way around. So all in, fix the car and get it ready for the fleet. We're looking at about $300 between the oil, the engine mount, the spark plugs, the side view mirror. Believe it or not, those little reflectors, it needed a side reflector. That actually, they had bought 2 new ones and left them in the glove box. We saved like 12 bucks. Yay. And also getting a replacement key. The car only came with one, so we have to get that and program it. So all in, we're looking at about 300 bucks, assuming that we need 1 or 2 quarts of transmission oil, as well as doing the oil change. So the reason why we are able to do that is because we had talked about this recently, how we shifted away from using a mobile mechanic, and we instead had hired one of our cleaners to step up as like a fleet operations contractor. So basically he is now in charge of taking care of the maintenance and the cleaning on the vehicles. As long as it's maintenance that is something that you could do with just the tools that you have in your car. If it needs a lift or anything like that, then of course we have to take it to a shop or someone else. So because of those systems that we've been implementing and the adjustments that we've made from our experience with Turo so far over these near 3 years, we've been able to move ourselves into a position that sets us up for a heck of a lot more profit, which has been wonderful. Now, comparing this to a vehicle in our fleet that's very similar, that would be our 2014 Toyota Yaris. So if you take a look at my screen over here, you can see that the Yaris for 2025 earned $10,999, just $1 short of 11 grand. Okay. So for that car, we had purchased it, I believe, for $6,200. Maintenance that year, I think we did brakes, we did a couple of oil changes. I don't even think we did a battery on it. And so our maintenance might have been $500-600 bucks. Turo takes out their fee, all that stuff. So the car was by far our highest profit earner for the year, especially ROI on its purchase price, because it was pretty inexpensive. So now to be able to add a car like that, and basically with the maintenance, with the fees and the purchase price, I'm all in under $3,500, almost half the price of the Yaris. We're in a good spot when it comes to looking at what the profit's going to be on this car. And the nice thing is the Yaris we bought with 109,000 miles, and this Mirage has only 62,100 miles. So hopefully it's still got a lot of life left in it. We're going to do everything on our end to make sure we maintain it as much as possible so it'll last as long as humanly point. We don't expect it to last as long as the Yaris, though. But anyway, I hope you found this information useful. If you haven't already, click the link in the description below. That'll take you to the kit site where you could sign up for the waitlist for Fleet Freedom. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be launching our paid community, which is going to give you direct access to me, asking questions on live calls, in the community chat, all of that stuff to be able to help you grow and scale your fleet to levels that you didn't think were possible and allow you to have the freedom to travel the world and enjoy the lifestyle that you want. So make sure that you sign up, because the price is locked in for founders who sign up for the wait list at just $49 a month. If you wait until the launch, then that means you're stuck paying the $79 a month, and who wants to do that? You found these videos early and you should get something special for it. But if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, heart the video, do all that fun stuff. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what was the most recent car that you got for your fleet, or what car are you thinking about starting your fleet with. And in the meantime, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody.